Hey, what's up, gang? Happy 2021 coming up. We are excited to go over your facility programming for January. This is your overview video. I'm gonna break it down week by week for you and dive into especially testing week and what it looks like for the open prep cycle. Those are really the most important things to communicate to your members here. So starting off, obviously we came off some end of the year testing, some deload, which really is just kind of varied. You don't know what's coming up the next day by intent, things that are maybe easier to coach for skeleton crew or things to do at home. So that's where we're starting, just a reminder of that. Now let's go in, I'm gonna share my screen and let's look at the important dates first. So first things first, January 4th to 9th is our prep and structural week. That means it's getting people back in the gym, rebalancing them, not just dosing them with a bunch of intensity, even though if they want that, we know, again, your members aren't the expert, you're the expert here. So we're looking at this from where we're gonna build them to, that if people were just fit coming into your gym to show off, then that's one thing. You probably wouldn't have a big gym though. We're trying to help people get in shape and teach them these skills that they can keep with them for life. So I know you knew that, I just wanna reiterate it. That's why it's prep and structural week, January 4th to 9th. January 11th to 16th is our testing week. This is our full cycle tests, right? We have 2 weeks after that, January 11th to 16th. These tests are gonna be ones where we're building on absolute strength, some skills that we will need leading into the open. Now, I don't mean we're doing, say, 30 muscle ups for time on Monday, but we're building up the pieces. Let's say if someone wants to have a heavy snatch, and I'll break down the cycle for you, what are pieces they need? What makes up a good snatch, right? Obviously being explosive, obviously good technique. From a structural standpoint, we're looking for a snatch grip deadlift to be very heavy and an overhead squat to be very heavy. So if you had both of those, chances are you're snatching. Just now you have to just put it through with technique, right? And obviously that's not magic, it takes work, but you will be limited by your absolute strength to pull the bar off the ground and what you can receive and hold in stability. So building up on those parts serves two purposes. Number one, whether you want to snatch or not, whether you want to do Amanda or not, whether you want to do the open or not, those are basic movements of life, right? Hinging off the ground, core stability, holding something overhead and not letting it move out of the plane you're trying to keep it in. That's basic, right? For everyone wants to be able to do that. I mean, wants to be able to do it. That's a basic movement that unlocks more things in your life for you. Number two, these all fit in with body composition. That's always an underlying premise of what we want. I don't care if people compete or not. I know most people, if I know your gym, Matt Frazier doesn't train at your 5:30 class with you. So people want to be able to do cool fitness stuff. They're not signing up to do sideline clamshells, but we have to keep them structurally balanced, but also give them fun fitness where they can push themselves there. So testing week, we'll go over all that and I'll break that down. It's 2 weeks. Then we have cycle one is our mini test, and that's usually the lowest intensity test. Coming off of, again, that testing week, we'll be able to hire, we rebuild back up, and it has a natural peak. And then we have another 3-week cycle here, 1 week, 2 week, February 15th to 19th will be a little harder. These will look a little more maybe like stuff for open prep, always with our fitness option. That'll be stuff for people that could give two craps about the open. They just want to look better naked and be strong and fit and have everything work good. That's always the plan for them. Other ones, we also have the sport option where people really want to bring the heat. Yeah, here's how it works. And we can do those together. That's 2 weeks. And then we have our little end of cycle testing week, March 1st to 5th there. Then that 6th to 10th will really be like, look, we're not going to do Fran the night before the open starts, right? It won't be again, it's not going to be banded monster walks for 3 days, but it's not going to be double Fran 2 nights before, right? Because we understand that's how it's going to go. So let's get into the whiteboard here. This is our structural week here. We have single front foot elevated split squats and single arm chainsaw rows there. So unilateral lunging and squatting with horizontal pulling, balanced with vertical pressing, our press there, and box jumping, and working on the ability to produce force is easier without load. Trying to learn to produce force with load, say in snatching or cleaning, is harder than just moving your body, right? Now bilateral squatting and back squatting, glute bridging and core work here into single leg deadlifting. Now again, balancing out some of the bilateral movements there, and then the handstand work. We're doing a lot of handstand work coming up. just to balance out different pressing patterns coming up there. And then Saturday will be really a functional bodybuilding day a lot of these days, right? Right now, we're not going to team workouts on Saturday. You can always make these into team workouts. Pretty easy to, team workout formula. Teams of 3 triple the reps, right? They're not the, not the hardest thing to put together is the any asshole team workout, if we're going to be totally honest. The Monday through Friday takes a lot more time to build that structure, making those fit in well. Now you're talking to make it time. But if you just want, hey, in your area, you can do team workouts. Cool. I enjoy team workouts. But that said, that's how you change it. Let's get into testing week right here. And this is our start of our cycle. Like I said, day 1, we're working upper body pulling and pushing relative strength. That means building up to a 1 rep max strict pull up and dip. What are most people's limiters on muscle ups? Can't pull high enough. They get caught like this. They can't push out deep enough, right? The middle is just the athleticism. We need to get through the middle so people can, do a good clean, move their body, jump well. The middle part, you don't have to be that fast, right? If you can pull up hard and high, and I'm from the camp, work with Dusty Highland a lot. Watch your toes. I'm name dropping, but Dusty's one of my athletes, and so he's really beat it into me. Earn your strict stuff first. So if you can pull up into here, okay, you got your muscle up. So 1 rep max there, and we have options for fitness there for eccentric pull-ups. And then we have Elizabeth for performance, and then Amanda for sport. So again, anyone who's really trying to push, Amanda's a great workout for that, but it's not for everyone. So we have Elizabeth as a benchmark here. Going back in now after the upper body pulling and hinging, we have front squats. So anterior loaded front squats to a heavy single, 1 rep every 2.5 minutes for 15 minutes. And then we have a work capacity test, which are one of my favorite ones, because they mimic good aerobic conditioning on the front end and then muscle endurance, local muscle endurance on the back end. How good can you make these moderate contractions to be sustainable without being able to go to a different movement? Meaning, start off with 4 minutes of calorie rowing or air bike, right? Either one's fine. I like air bike for almost everything, but rowing works great for this work. Now 3 minutes of wall ball. So you can, normally a workout, again, that has better turnover, where local muscle endurance is not a limiter, would be wall ball, toes to bar, push up, wall. So you get tired on one, the next ones are there. That's like Cindy versus Angie is local muscle endurance. That's why knowing people can do a faster amount of rounds in Cindy than you can in Angie for most people, right? So 4 minutes of row, 3 minutes of wall ball, 2 minutes of toes to bar. After all that, are your shoulders strong enough to do handstand push-ups? Or for sport, obviously anyone wanting to be really good in the open is strict handstand push-ups. Anyone who doesn't care, it's just going to be shoulder to overhead right here with dumbbells. That was great. Again, handstand push-ups aren't for everyone. From an occupational capacity standpoint, if you're trying to have, you can only have so many people in your class and wall space is limited, shoulder to overhead works great, again, if that's not an issue. That's why we have goal-based programming. Not everyone's goal is that. I understand that. And that's how to help find out what's their goal, what they come in for. After the anterior loaded front squat and shoulder work, the next day is snatch, grip, deadlift. Let's see how we're building up these pieces we need that both improve everyone's fitness and are the limiters for advanced fitness. Now you have the client that comes in, they just want to snatch every day. I get it. I was there. And 2011 was a great year. But we know a little more about this now, that everyone's going to benefit from these, because these are the inputs. You get a better snatch, grip, deadlift. That's what's limiting your ability to catch, to pull the bar into the position without being out of position when you snatch. Right? We're trying to stay over the bar and get the contact at the right point to get into receiving. We have that for a 1 rep max snatch, grip, deadlift, or a clean grip or snatch, grip, deadlift for a 5 rep. And then one of my favorite workouts, Hearts on Fire, 12-minute AMRAP, 40 dubs, 20 single arm dumbbell front rack reverse lunge, 20 dumbbell power snatch. So great from both a programming standpoint and occupational capacity standpoint. You can do it right there. It takes a really small footprint. Double unders need to become aerobic. Single arm dumbbell front rack lunge, either front rack or for sport is overhead there, and then into alt arm snatch. So we have hinging on top of the hinging. This is a speed, strength, endurance workout. Like most good CrossFit conditioning workouts are speed, strength, endurance. I mean, it's not too heavy, but it's heavy enough that if you don't have enough strength, that's going to be hard. And what happens on that dumbbell? First round people are flying. they don't have a good enough hinge capacity, well, start to get hot here, right? So the higher we can make that, that becomes easy. It becomes like a 35-pound kettlebell swing versus a 70. All right. So after 3 days of hard tests, we have structural work, single arm dumbbell bench press or single arm dumbbell glute bridge bench press and prone row. So horizontal pushing and pulling after we had our shoulder to overhead and handstand push-ups and our dips. So we're balancing that out, balancing out our 1 rep max strict weighted pull-ups with our prone row to 5 rep max. So that is strength endurance work, and it's both unilateral. So we're balancing out the dumbbell bench press and the 2-arm prone row horizontal there. Now we have a variation here, all body weight after a bunch of weighted or high skill stuff. Macho Man on Friday, so it's body weight stuff, lower skill on design, a variation of Tabata something else, but we have lunging here on Wednesday. We have a bunch of squatting on Friday, so I took the squats out, replaced it with rowing. So it's strict pull-ups, right? Muscle endurance, more muscle endurance. We'll be kipping a lot in February. Don't worry about it. Your kipping is only limited by your strict pull-ups, so let's get better at strict pull-ups, and then you can kip if you want, and if you don't care about kipping, then guess what? Get really good at strict pull-ups. Yeah, I know. I hope I'm laying it on thick. Right? We've got to coach them to where we need to get them to, help them see behind the curtain of what's really holding back their goals. Right? Push-up variations. We have different push-ups, knees or toes, ring push-ups. You can get creative here if you want. There for people, sit-ups, all groups there, and then rowing for calorie. You're gonna rest for 30 seconds to rotate, so it's all 8 sets. So again, local muscle endurance is the issue where, say for Elizabeth, we had some turnover there on that one. And finally, Friday, overhead squat, 1 rep max, or we can do glute bridge. Again, overhead squatting can be challenging for some people, just looking better naked, even though it's an important one. I'm not afraid of any of these things. I'm not from the camp of like, oh, your people are snowflakes, they can't do overhead squats. No, they can, but what are the precursors? That's all I care about. What's the piece we need to build to help them do it? If they could already overhead squat, great. They probably wouldn't need to pay you $300 a month for a membership, right? So let's help people get the skills they need to be able to do this. And then once they can, we can help them unlock all sorts of cool stuff in the future. Into Macho Man, 3 power cleans, 3 front squat, 3 shoulder overhead, 1 set every minute for up to 12 minutes. Most people cannot get to 12 minutes unbroken. Your goal is to get 10 rounds completed in 12 minutes. What does that mean? It means you may have to rest a round. That's okay. So if I can get through 5 rounds, and round 6 I can't, I'll skip a minute and I'll pick back up. I'm gonna try and get to 10 rounds completed. If you get to 10 rounds completed, you can be done. It's hard, right? Or you can go to round 11, round 12. If you get there round 13, you do 4-4-4. Round 14, you do 5-5-5, and this is going to make it so it doesn't go to 35 minutes like Matt Frazier can do or whatever. So again, we have the loadings in there. A very challenging workout. Getting 10 rounds is a really good one. It's a good predictor both of submaximal strength, speed, endurance, which is good for body composition and overall athleticism. So it's heavy enough. You've got to be straining. It's going to work your creatine phosphate ability to produce force quickly and recover, as well as its submax. So technique should be really good here. You're not going to get a lot of slop, hopefully. And Friday, again, Wednesday, we had single leg or bilateral hinging with wide grip to a 1 rep max. Saturday is single leg deadlifts, strength endurance to an 8 rep max, and some handstand tests. And finishing up with what? 10-minute max cals on the air bike, 1 time through. That's a test. You know it. We don't really program it for gyms a lot, but it's a great test for everyone. Everyone's getting it. I have some norms there for you. So we'll go through that there, starting off the cycle here. Now we're building back up based on those progressions. So we have pull-up complex, pause front squats, and box jumps. Like I said, reworking that athleticism and the squatting. So it's a pause front squat, snatch grip deadlift into strict handstand push-ups, not for time, right? We don't just throw everything in for time. We build them in isolation, and then we work them into conditioning. Horizontal bent over row, seesaw, hollow rock position, and a sled push or a heavy farmer's carry, right? Into snatch balance, right? How do we rebuild our snatch grip deadlifts, overhead squat, or snatch balance into a longer EMOM, right? I want to get people really good at moving these contractions over and over and over. making them, say it with me, sustainable. So you see a lot of moderate complexity movements. We're trying to get sustainable. Into Saturday, where we're going more on lactic work, right? We had the 10-minute air bike test. So we have some single leg deadlifting again, and then lactic power. And now let's go to the last week. Same thing. We have a little bit of test, build to a tough set of 3 up front squat with a pause, strict dip and strict pull-ups for max reps now, snatch grip deadlift to a 5 rep max, prone row and dragon flags, and then snatch balance here. So you'll see that into lactic testers. So these ones, snatch grip deadlift. What is hinging upper body vertical pushing? It's Diane, right? You see it here on Wednesday. Here we have a different Tabata. And then my favorite one, kind of building off Macho Man, is the squat cleans. 50 reps per time on diabolical. Bam, bam, bam. Now we go through into February. I'll give you a quick overview here. We're building through stuff, building up to the open. So we're almost set for everything that's got out last week of February. Finished for you into your retesting week. And that is the jam. That is January, sneak peek at February. We had to make some adjustments because they changed the open dates there that second week of March. So that was part of why, get some curveballs. They love to throw us curveballs, but I'm here to take that off your plate. Let's have a great month. I'm really excited to crush 2021 with you guys, with you all, get you back in the gym, get some normalcy again. And anything you need, please let me know. All right, thanks.